Hello and welcome to Monmouth in Focus, a program about the services and functions of Monmouth County government. I'm Cynthia Scott, your host of Monmouth in Focus, and today we are joined by Freeholder Jerry Scharfenberger to talk about an important resolution. It's called the contract with Monmouth County that was recently passed by the Board of Chosen Freeholders. Thanks so much for joining us today, Freeholder Scharfenberger.
Thank you.
Always great to see you here on Monmouth in Focus.
Same here.
So the contract, let's start by talking about what exactly it is.
Well, the contract for Monmouth County is a blueprint for governing, as we like to say. And it's a policy and position statement, things that are important to us, certain initiatives and issues. And we felt it was a good move to put this out and formalize it for the residents, so they know exactly where we're coming from, what issues are important to us, and what we'll be working on in the future.
Sure. So, Freeholder, what specifically does the contract entail?
Well, what it does, we put it into resolution form, and it's got 14 bullet points for issues and positions that we have taken in the past and will take in the future. So we codified it inside a resolution so people will be able to read it. It's an easy read and get their thoughts on it, kind of allay any fears that they may have that we're not dealing with certain things. So that's the physical structure of it.
Mm-hmm. So the Board of Chosen Freeholders had to pass a resolution. What was the process to go ahead and decide to do this contract?
Well, what it was, I put together a rough draft and I sent it to my fellow freeholders, and everybody had input on it, gave suggestions, different ideas on what should be added, maybe changed, modified a little bit. So that was the process that we had to put the whole thing together. Then we put it into resolution form, voted on it, and now it's part of our our legal record.
So does the contract build off of any past initiatives or work that the freeholders have done in the past?
Yeah, actually it's modeled somewhat loosely after the contract with America that was passed in the 90s and was very successful. Mm-hmm. It gave the legislature at the federal level sort of a blueprint to follow with things that were important.
Gotcha.
So I tried to model it more or less after that, and now these are things that we are working on. If you'll notice, one of the things deals with open space, mm-hmm. and we promise that we will continue to build the park system. That's one of the jewels of this county, and we want to reassure everybody that we are going to expand it and keep it healthy for the coming years.
So when it comes to the contract, does it expire at a certain point, or do you just keep signing off on it, or how does that operate?
No, there's no expiration date, there's no shelf life. This is something, unless a future board wants to modify it in mm-hmm. some way, then they can certainly do that. But these are things that we think are bedrock principles that we've always governed by, and we will for the foreseeable future.
Gotcha. So it could be amended, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So a big part of the contract involves economic growth in Monmouth mm-hmm. County. We talk about that a lot. Specifically, though, what are some of the key factors that you are looking at when it comes to economic growth?
Well, we want to reassure everybody that we're always looking to expand the commercial tax rateable base. And another advantage to having something like this is that businesses and potential entrepreneurs see this and they know that Monmouth County is business friendly, that we want to attract them, that we want to work with them, that they are important to us. So we wanted to spell that out, that it's good for the residents, it's good for the businesses, and it's good for Monmouth County as a whole to have a healthy economic development outlook, which is mm-hmm. what we have, and that's one of the bullets in there.
Mm-hmm. When it came to putting the contract together, I would imagine that you got impact from your freeholders, your fellow freeholders, and, mm-hmm. and how about the communities as well?
Definitely, and that was a big part of the motivation. We live in a political climate that's very strident, very rancorous, and things like that. So people are getting frustrated with it. So one of the things that you hear over and over again are about certain issues, but they don't know where we stand, or they don't know where certain officials stand. Mm-hmm. So we thought it was a good idea to put it in writing, clearly in writing, and sort of reassure them that we have our barometer intact. And we have a great game plan for running the county, and we will be the kind of officials that they could be proud of and rely on. So we wanted to put that in writing and codify it, which is, I think, what we did, fairly well.
Absolutely. And Do any other counties that you're aware of have a similar contract?
No, this is the
Yeah.
first of its kind, we think, in New Jersey, and I don't know of any municipal contracts either. So we're hoping that this will catch on. We hope there's some ideas that other counties can use and maybe add some of their own. But we think it's good, and we think it's really fair to the electorate.
Sure.
That they know where we stand, what our positions are, and if they want to question anything, they'll be able to, because they know firmly where we're coming from and what our future views are.
Seems like it's also very important to the county's economy.
Very, very important, very important. And this is, stability, consistency is what makes good economic development policy.
Mm-hmm. Can it also benefit nonprofit organizations?
Sure. We rely heavily on them, and there's a bullet in there how we want to work with nonprofits as a way to provide services without impacting taxpayer finances. So it is very important. They're an important part of what we do, and they're an important part of Monmouth County's future.
We also talk a lot about Monmouth County kind of setting the bar for other counties. We are a first in a lot of initiatives. So how do we set standards for other counties?
Well, I think we have 5 very experienced people. We've all been mayors at some point, so we all know what the municipalities are going through, what the needs are, and what the problems they face. So it's good to have those 5. We all work very well together. Everybody has a strength that they bring, or strengths that they bring to the Freeholder Board. So it's a great combination. And I think that chemistry is really what makes Monmouth County work so well from a governing standpoint.
Absolutely, and you bring up a good point. At some point, you were all mayors or councilmen and women, and that's really important because you work with the municipalities day in and day out, and you know how they operate, from being local officials to now county officials.
Absolutely. It is important. It is a little bit different step, but it also is important at the county level to know what they're dealing with, and you see that too in the contract.
Sure. So for the residents and viewers who want to know, where do I find this contract? I would imagine they go to visitmonmouth.com.
Yeah, visit monmouth.com, and if they have any questions, they can reach out to any one of the 5 of us and at any time. In fact, we really like to hear from the public. Whenever we're out and about, we like to speak with them, and you get a view of things that you don't ordinarily get just sitting in the office. So it's great to hear from people. If they have any questions, any suggestions, we're always open to it.
Absolutely. And any other aspects of the contract that you would like to discuss?
Well, I think the totality of it, the fact that we're codifying that we will always question initiatives and policies that negatively impact the county and the municipalities in our county. So we're sort of the go-between between the municipalities and the residents and the state legislature or even the federal government. So we want to be that voice for them. And that's one of the bullets that we have in that we're always going to support them and be on their side, even if it's something not in our purview.
Absolutely. Real important there, Freeholder. And again, if residents would like to discuss this with county freeholders, they can obviously call the Hall of Records, call the offices, as well as for the contract. It is on www.visitmonmouth.com. That is the contract of Monmouth County. Thank you so much for joining us today, Freeholder.
Thank you.
Always great to share information with you, to have you share the information here for our residents,
Thank
for
you.
all the viewers here in Monmouth County. I'm Cynthia Scott. Have a great day, everyone.